There are higher municipalities in the USA, but at 10,152 feet, that's 3,094 meters, Leadville is the highest city. Gold miners in the area were having trouble with this black, strange, heavy sand. It was actually silver and lead, so some prospectors traced it back to its source, and thus Leadville was born. A lot of the old buildings have been turned into cafes, pubs, tchotchke shops, or even places where you can get custom-made gloves and jackets. And some of the old places are still being used for their original purpose. The Tabor Opera House. Oscar Wilde once came through and lectured here, and we're staying at the Delaware Hotel. Okay, so the hotel's a bit weird. Statues, animal heads, and this Santa from the 1800s? But that's why we're here. What, did you think we were going to stay at a Holiday Inn? Hell no.
This actually wouldn't be a bad laptop for editing.
I need to connect to the internet to check my stocks.
Stocks?
I'm just kidding, I don't have any stocks.
Oh my god, this is awesomely stupid.
He's a bit overzealous. I doubt this young man is under the employment of the guilds. In fact, I believe he has been sent to help us. Help us in our time of need.
So why the hell are we here? To climb a mountain. And once we get on top of that mountain, we're gonna play Doom. John Carmack and John Romero started development on Doom in 1992. They had no idea what impact they were about to have on the world, and they had no idea that we were going to someday climb this mountain and play their game on top. Doom is the original LAN game. Doom is the game that started tournaments. Doom is the game that started everything.
You've lost the lead.
I have never really experienced much altitude sickness, but last night we came in and went straight to bed. And that's kind of the wrong thing to do. You come in to a new environment and you go straight to bed, you lay down and you relax, and your body is not moving around. You're not breathing correctly and all that stuff. So I woke up pretty messed up this morning. I'm feeling okay now, but I hope everyone else is okay for the climb.
Linus and I climbed a mountain in Hawaii once, but it was like an hour and a half climb, maybe. So not really. We'll see who makes it to the top, but this guy hopefully makes it.
Try not to get altitude sickness. So I went the cop-out pharmaceuticals route, whereas a lot of people are going the green route, literally with the chlorophyll, and then others are going the au naturel route, and we're going to see which ones get us to the top of the mountain and which ones don't.
I woke up this morning, I feel like I had a huge hangover.
Walking up the stairs with our 50 pounds of luggage plus my backpack with all my gear, 2 flights, and I was panting.
I've gone up this far in raw distance if you start everything from zero, but I'm already having altitude problems, so kind of worried about that.
I'd say of everyone, just physically looking at them right now, where we're at, I think Edsel is looking the most he just looks, he's looking better right now, but he had a sort of a pained expression on his face, but yeah, you never know.
Altitude sickness might cause issues. Brandon is a bit lightheaded, same with Luke, so this is kind of worrying.
I am thirsty like you wouldn't believe. I've had 4 of these suckers since, no, in the last 40 minutes.
Oh, okay. It's all a mind game. I'll probably be dead somewhere between, 13,000 and 14,000 feet, but my body will keep going. You can resurrect me when you get back to the ground. I will respawn back in the hotel room. When we were planning it, everyone was sending all these emails back and forth, which laptops and this router and who's the sponsors and the hotel rooms, and then they keep talking about all this stuff, and I'm I've climbed this mountain before, so I'm no one's talking about the mountain or the climb, and that shit's pretty crazy. So temperature changes from 60 to 20 in 15 seconds, and it'll start snowing out of nowhere. But that said, I also told everybody that kids do this stuff, families do it, dogs do it, so it's doable. It's not, and if you live in Colorado, this is just Saturday, but for people from Florida and California and New York, it's it's hard. We're gonna climb a big mountain. But it is a big mountain and it is hard and the atmosphere is light.
All right, for the gear, we have the Asus G550, and this one comes equipped with a GTX 850. I believe it's a 4710 quad-core CPU, so it's pretty powerful, nice and slim.
In terms of gaming peripherals, we have committed to lug the Corsair Vengeance K70 and K95 RGB keyboards up there with us. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge. We'll definitely be having the best possible gaming experience, but the climb itself with those heavy-duty mechanical keyboards, that could be a little bit of a challenge.
I wish almost that it would be a bit darker, like at night by the time we got to the top of the mountain. That way you could actually see the LEDs a bit better.
We also have the Asus router. It's an AC router, and we've done some terrible things to hack this to make it work on a mountain.
We've got this really awesome 12-volt lead-acid battery that we pulled out of a APC UPS, and we can supply the 12-volt current that we need to power our Dell branded. It's actually a laptop charger, but it has a 12-volt input. So we're gonna plug this baby into our battery. We're trying not to electrocute ourselves. I have grafted the cable for the battery into this awesome 12-volt carb receptacle. And we can go like this. Voltmeter. There we go. 19.5 volts coming out of the Dell. This is the power supply for the Asus router. I'm gonna clip this, rip the wires out, and then splice it into this baby. And then we should be good to go.
That's how you run a router on top of a mountain?
That's how we run a router on top of a mountain. This is the only one of these we have, so if I fuck this up, we're too late. And if we have this on film and we blow up the router, I guess we're just gonna hang out tomorrow. Okay, so I've got power on the Dell, and I got power on the router. Somebody got a freaking laptop that can connect to it?
Right here. All right, so tomorrow morning we're gonna get up really early, like 4:30 or 5, and we're gonna try to be at the trail head at around 5:30. The reason being is because every day, almost in the summer, there's a storm that rolls in around noon or 1 o'clock. And these storms are extremely dangerous. We're talking like lightning storms. And when you're up that high on a mountain, you're actually inside the cloud and you're above the tree line. So guess what? You're the tallest thing that's around, and you're what's gonna get hit by lightning. And even if lightning strikes somewhere nearby, it's gonna bounce off the rocks and you're gonna get a really nice jolt. So it's gonna be really dangerous to be up there anytime after noon. Sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes there is no storm, but 14/17 of the time, there's gonna be a storm.
Keyboards? You guys all have keyboards, right?
Wouldn't fit my bag.
So the ballsiest person in our group is Nick, because he's climbing this 14,000 foot mountain with Chucks.
Got a broken pinky, no other shoe fits. Onward!
Now I'm already.
Ready? No, let's do it!
No way, 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit more than 45 minutes. Starting at Half Moon Creek, we're going to take the northeast ridge to the summit. It's about 4,500 feet to the top. Now, the real trouble usually starts once you cross the tree line. At 1,200 feet, many start to feel the effects of altitude sickness. So we'll just see who makes it to the top.
My goal is to get up there to try to encourage everyone who's going as much as I can, because I really want as many of us as possible to make it to the top, because I think it's going to be, you know, getting to the top of a mountain like that. The highest one I've ever done is about 12,000 feet, so I think it'll be a real accomplishment.
There's a certain point after the first fall summit where you finally see all the mountains, like another 180 degrees of just mountains covered in snow. And that was the point when I was like motivated. I was like, okay, I got to get to the top, because if this is out there, what else is out there?
So, here's one for Tek Syndicate. There's Linus. He hasn't gotten to the summit yet. He's counting his eggs before they hatch. And I'm gonna make it to the summit before him. So yeah, that's it, that's what happens.
dog.
Yeah.
So you've been up here for like an hour. How's the weather?
Highest land party. There we go.
I got power! Woo!
It's totally the last thing that you expect when you get to the top of a mountain to see a group of 10 people just playing video games on a bunch of laptops with their router out, yelling and screaming left and right and just having a blast, having a LAN party. I've never seen that before, and I'm not sure I ever will again.
Let's see if you can figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
We can see you in the server list, but it says no response.
Seeing all of these guys, all of these nerds with their laptops set up, playing games, and ready to rock this at the top of a mountain. And then getting that network set up, getting the lights on, and actually having a wireless network on the top of a mountain where there's no power lines, there's no anything. We are all running on battery power, and we are only there as long as we have power. And that experience right there. Oh, and kicking everyone's ass into.
Looked kind of surreal with all the darker rocks and everything, and then like the red logos on the laptops and the router sitting there with the crazy rig that Kane and Wendell put together, you know, with the wires going everywhere. There's probably, I'm gonna venture out and say I don't think that there's ever been that much technology on the summit of that mountain over there.
And everything came together. We're watching this huge amount of snow come. Literally as we wrapped the game, like blizzard coming through, like super windy, all this kind of crazy stuff. And it's like, we didn't care. We did it. We made it happen. Literally perfect timing. And I'm never gonna forget that. It was insane.
That was being on top of the summit of a mountain in the middle of tons of snow, and then watching it blow past, and then just watching these clouds with this heavy snowfall just blow off into the distance. I won't forget that ever.
Once I got to the top, I thought really the hardest part was over with, and I was feeling very elated. And then the challenges on the way back down were very tough to deal with.
Like that mountain, that's the craziest thing I've ever done. By the time I got almost to the tree line, I could see the tree line. I was walking so slow that Paul was staying behind with me. Logan, Slick, and a few other people, they all stayed and they started helping me. They basically carried me down the mountain. And then the storms came, and then it started raining, and then a lightning bolt struck 15 feet in front of me and Logan.
Thunder and lightning hitting the trees all around us, and we had to pretty much sprint down the last maybe quarter mile of the trail, and we were fearing for our lives the entire time.
This rush of energy, any energy I had in my body left, I used to run off that mountain. I'm getting off this mountain.
Jimmy said something to the effect of let's get off this freaking mountain, and just took off.
And then as soon as I got to the car, I literally almost passed out because I had no energy in my body left.
Multiple people made wrong decisions. I think Luke probably should have turned around earlier, but he was a monster. He's I don't give a shit. I'm gonna make it to the top. Nothing is stopping me. And you would ask him, are you okay? He's like, nope, I'm still going. When I saw Brandon come over the summit as we were leaving, I could not believe it. I was in complete and total utter shock that he made it. And mad props to him for having the stamina and the willpower to keep going.
To any nerd or geek or whatever title you want to give yourself, even if you don't exercise a lot or you don't do a lot of athletic activity, if you can get a strong group of people who at least some of them are experienced, I think anyone can make it up to the top, because if that group of people is helping you all the way like they helped me, I climbed a 14er as my first hike. I think anyone could do it. You just have to keep believing. Get in the zone where everything that you think is pulling you down, just make it leave your head and keep looking forward and looking up at the other people who might be in front of you or might be behind you, and just keep on pushing.
So we freaking did it. We climbed a mountain, had our LAN party, and broke a world record. I want to say thanks to everybody involved. This was really a group effort. Special thanks to Elizabeth. She wasn't featured much in this video because of Guinness Book of World Records, conflict of interest type things. But she was our meteorologist, and she did a lot more than just give us an altitude reading at the base and the summit. She provided moral support, and she even provided physical support when some people couldn't carry on. And lastly, thanks to our sponsors, Asus, Intel, and Corsair. It's kind of appropriate that they're our sponsors. I had this idea while I was at an Asus event for an Intel platform launch, and I was hanging out with some Corsair guys. So, pretty awesome. Without their hardware, this would not have worked. Be sure to check out all the other highLANder videos from everyone else involved.